Shalom, shalom. I'd like to start out by giving all honors, praises, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Kodash. Double honors to the apostles of GMS. Salutations to the elect brothers pushing this truth with sincerity across all four corners of the globe. Alright, as we begin a new day, the system still continues to churn, and this beast is in full throttle, heading its course, sending this world down a shithole. Alright. It's the eve of destruction. The so-called beginning of the year. And things is just spiraling out of control. Alright. Mainly, civil unrest. Different nations is going up against the beast, man. They upset. It's high tides in time of anger, political unrest, and people just upset with this place, man, because they see the direction that it's going with the law enforcement. Every time you turn around, there's a incident where people are rising up against these law enforcement agencies. Why? Because they acting inhuman. They are being guided in the way of above the law, and just extreme measures to do what they're paid to do. And which is to serve and protect, but it's the opposite way around of doing serve and protect. It's brutally just enforcing the law, you know, on a minute situation, and use extreme measures, to deal with the law, and people are getting upset with it, but they're just doing what they're told to do. They're being guided to use extreme measures to enforce the law. They running in schools, to get immigrants. They doing everything. They doing the extreme, and people are getting upset with it. You had a case where a McDonald's was being investigated, and the security in McDonald's was guns out, ready to defend the store from you know the boys, man, the big bad boys. All right, and they wasn't trying to hear it. So they had an all-time high where they ready to just set it off on the American citizens, man. They don't care. They above the law, man. And this is a time where the Lord is controlling that. He's uh putting the spirit on their executives, the people that control them. Their the kings. All right, whoever controls the military or the law enforcement is the kings. All right, and that's your commander in chief, man. He telling them what to do. He telling them it's okay for them to use those tactics. All right. So these are the things that y'all have to deal with. Cause mind you, Israel, we still here in captivity, so we are subjected to the king's rule. You can't do what you want. You know, the Lord understands that, and that's why He's doing that to make them do what they have to do in order for them to be judged in the end. All right. So as we live out these last days, man, we're gonna see extreme injustices based upon the people who supposed to protect the justice. All right, law enforcement is put in place to protect, you know, people's rights, but it's actually right now in these days and times they breaking the rights of the people. All right, and this is the reason that the Lord done this so He could show the world their wickedness. All right, their true nature is not to serve and protect; is to destroy and pillage. People mind state is at an all time high right now of being despair, you know, not knowing what's going to happen. All right, like in Isaiah 13, like everything is always a new thing situation where uh, heartaches and pains and sorrows is happening. Like if a woman travaileth and having contractions, they coming so full, so frequent, you know. So right here in Proverbs chapter 21, I mean, yeah, Proverbs chapter 21, in the first verse, it says, the king's heart is in the hand of the Lord, as the rivers of water. All right. The king's heart is the king's mind. All right. So whatever the rulers of this place is thinking right now, the Lord put that it's in his heart or in his mind because of the Lord. He said, the verse says, the heart is in the hand of the Lord, as the rivers of waters. All right. He turneth it whithersoever he will. All right. So the Lord got him in a situation where, he might think that he's making all these executive decisions on his own and with his advisors, but that's the Lord making him go in whatever direction that he's going. So when people think of the harsh things that's going on in the world, you know, they want to blame the man himself, but it's the Most High. All right, that ruler or that king is just a vessel for where the Lord is going and taking it. And He's trying to show the people, you know, the nature of the wicked. He's not just being cruel for no reason. He's showing you a reason. And he's showing you who the people behind the destruction and the wicked. All right. And in verse 2, it says, every way of a man is right in his own eyes, but the Lord pondereth the hearts. So in these rulers' eyes, they think that they, making executive decisions that's in the right manner, all right, of what stands for righteousness and justice, but in his own twisted mind, he think he doing the right thing by taking over and you know, flexing his muscle to show this nation's superiority. But this is the weakest nation, man. They just blessed with the sword, but spiritually and mentally, they're not the strongest nation. They're the weakest nation. All right. But in his own eyes, the pride of his might, the pride of his military force, which is the sword that the Lord blessed Esau with, they believe that they doing things, you know, in good nature, and they believe that because their military is superior, that it has to be right. The Lord must be with it. But in one aspect, the Lord is with it, but it's not for the righteousness of it. It's for the manifestation of your wickedness to show people how wicked you can be, how far you can go with that blessing that you give with the sword. You know, so the Lord is in control of all of that, and you know everything that you see that's going on in the world. Contrary to belief, y'all believe that Satan is running the world, but the Lord is making things go according to order, just like how it's supposed to be. All right. So, uh, Lord willing, these precepts was in Proverbs 21 was edifying. And yeah, the king's heart is in the hand of the Lord. All right. So until next time, shalom.